Welcome back to Tech Stack for all you tech enthusiasts. Welcome to part 2 of our Laravel series. In this video, we will explore the file and folder structure of Laravel and understand the purpose of the most important directories and files. Before we explore the file and folder structure, let's first understand MVC. Laravel follows the MVC, Model View Controller, architecture. If you're already familiar with MVC, learning Laravel will be much easier because most of its structure is built around this pattern. The model is responsible for managing the application's data and business logic. It interacts with the database and handles data-related operations. The view is responsible for presenting data to the user. It handles the user interface and displays the information received from the application. The controller handles user requests and acts as a bridge between the model and the view. It processes incoming requests, interacts with the model, and returns the appropriate view to the user. Let's now explore our Laravel project and identify where the models, views, and controllers are located. Views are located inside the Resources folder. Models are located inside the App folder. Controllers are located inside the HTTP folder within the app directory. Now let's run the project using the PHP artisan serve command. You can see the project is now running. Let's test it in the browser. Perfect. You can see that everything is working correctly. All of this content is being rendered from the welcome.blade.php file inside the Views folder. Let's modify this file and instantly see the changes in the browser. Let's refresh the page and see the updated changes. As you can see, the changes are reflected in the browser. Now we'll go through each file and folder step by step. First, let's talk about the .env file. The .env file is used to store environment settings like database configuration, app name, and other important settings that should not be hard-coded in the project. The .env.example file is a sample environment file. It contains default configuration values and is used as a template to create your own .env file. Now let's move to the composer.json file. It helps ensure that the correct PHP version and all required Laravel packages are installed and compatible with the project. Require.dev contains development-only packages used for testing, debugging, and code quality. Packages listed in Require.dev are downloaded into the vendor folder when running Composer install. Vendor folder, where all Composer installed packages are physically stored. Why vendor always has more packages than Require.dev? Because vendor folder contains all dependencies of the project, while Require.dev only lists development tools. Now let's move to the app folder. The app folder is the main core of a Laravel application. The HTTP folder handles all HTTP-related logic like requests, controllers, middleware, and routing logic that interacts with the user. The models folder contains all the model classes, which are responsible for interacting with the database and managing application data. The providers folder contains service providers, which are used to bootstrap the application and register services, events, and configurations in Laravel. Now, let's move to the routes folder. The console.php file is used to define artisan console commands and schedule tasks that run in the background. Web.php file contains all the web routes of the application. These routes handle browser requests and return views or controllers. Now let's explore the Resources folder. Resources folder contains front-end related files like views, raw CSS, JavaScript, and blade templates used to build the user interface. Config folder contains all configuration files of the Laravel application. App.php file contains core application settings like app name, environment, debug mode, URL, time zone, and service providers. Auth.php file contains authentication settings in Laravel, such as guards and providers. Cache.php file defines how Laravel handles caching, including the cache drivers like file, database. Database.php file contains all database-related settings in Laravel. Filesystems.php file defines how Laravel handles file storage. Logging.php file defines how Laravel handles application logs. Mail.php file contains email configuration settings in Laravel. Queue.php file defines how Laravel handles background jobs and queues, including drivers. Services.php file is used to configure third-party services in Laravel. Session.php file controls how Laravel handles user sessions. Now let's move to the database folder. Database folder contains everything related to database structure, including migrations, seeders, and factories used to manage and generate database data. Now let's move to the public folder. Index.php file is the main entry point of a Laravel application. Every request first goes through this file, which then loads the Laravel framework and routes the request accordingly. Robots.txt file is used to control how search engine bots crawl and index your website. Favicon.ico file is the small icon that appears in the browser tab next to your website title. htaccess file is used to control server configuration on Apache. Now, let's move to the storage folder. The storage folder is used to store logs, cache files, compiled views, and uploaded files generated by the application. Now let's move to the tests folder. The tests folder contains automated test cases for the application, which are used to check if different parts of the code are working correctly. Now let's open the package.json file. Package.json file contains front-end dependencies and script for the Laravel project, such as node packages, build tools, and commands like vite for compiling assets. Now let's open the vite.config.js file. Vite.config.js file is used to configure vite in Laravel. It controls how front-end assets like CSS and JavaScript are bundled, compiled, and served during development. Now let's open the phpunit.xml file. phpunit.xml file is used to configure PHP unit testing in Laravel. It defines test settings, environment variables, and how automated tests should be executed. If you're passionate about learning new technologies, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Tech Stack, and keep learning new skills. Thank you. And remember, consistency is the key to success.